That's life. There's only a few weeks left in the TCR schedule, but they're making sure to bring on some absolute classics to round it out. This is week 11 of the TCR SOF Plus series. Quite close to the end of the road, but what a great place to send it to finish off the schedule as we head to Rudskogen Motor Centre, one of Norway's classic TCR venues, full of tight corners and some tricky slowdowns, big sweepers and huge elevation change, and some tight and sweeping corners all throughout the circuit. This is one of those truly seminal free tracks that came around in iRacing in the last few years, and I couldn't be gladder to see the series come here. Qualifying is coming to an end. I'm fashionably late as ever and joined by Jim Cunningham again in the booth for another SOF race for the TCR drivers. We have the largest field ever here, and I believe this track is a little bit of a challenge for some. I've heard you've had bad experiences.
I've had no good experiences here. This place just is a struggle for me. These downhill, big sweeping turns. I just cannot get my cars to rotate here. I love this place. It's beautiful. But I cannot go fast here, that's for sure.
Well, I like it in a variety of other cars, but I've never driven it in the classic TCR lineup. And qualifying is coming to a close now fairly soon because I was fashionably late and I can't fade out a music track correctly. Those are the tech gremlins I have to deal with every day of my life. Well, quite a few drivers have their lap times set. I always find that getting around some of these tight sweepers is tricky at the best of days, and we are in the front-wheel drive understeer city cars, so I do get the feeling that we're going to have a few oopsie daisies across the white line, especially down this incredible downhill right-hander with awesome rocks.
That is arguably one of the best-looking turns in all of racing right there. But it's tough. It's tough for me anyway. I mean, there are plenty of guys that have no problem with it, but yeah, that one gets me. But this place is gorgeous, and it's one I would love to visit in person, actually.
Yeah, I'm going on a bit of a track world tour right now, and quite frankly, I would like to check this one out sooner rather than later. I can make Norway. I know it's a bit harder for the Americans on board with a new driver that we haven't seen in the races yet. Only on board with him in particular because all the top drivers set their laps while I was failing to get the stream online. Well, you can't win them all. Yeah, I mean, I find understeer bites here in just the FF1600 Formula V and the Mazda MX-5 where you see most often here. Obviously, these cars are notorious for their difficulty in rotation. That brake bias is going to be cranked so far back that we might see some Tokyo drift around the bends. Here's Dylan Winhu, who hasn't been able to actually set a clean time yet. And I don't blame him, but this is the last attempt. So maybe we can just have a little bit talk about this track as we go around it. As you mentioned, beautiful corner, although terrifying corner. Sticking someone side by side into here is the terror in itself. As you then come back out the end, and it just becomes tight and tricky. So many slowdowns over those green markings.
Yeah, that section right there is like a little mini S's little section, and in some of the V cars and stuff like that, you can almost straighten that out. I don't know in these TCRs if it's a little more windy through there, but man, he's getting through some of the turns that I struggle with pretty well. That's another one I struggle with right there, that little uphill kind of comeback turn. And yeah, I mean, he seems to be getting around pretty good here.
Let's hope it is clean. though. Let's hope it's a clean lap. As we take a look at the predicted lap, this might just be a good grid position if it's clean. We can't quite see whether there's an off track across the line, but we'll see whether he pops up very, very shortly. It's a 1:29.7, and it is good enough for P3. Well, don't say we don't win all the time.
No, that was a nice looking lap. I mean, he, like I said, all the turns that are struggle on this track, he got through well. So, yeah, I guess he was just going a little too fast on those other laps, but that's a good one he put up there.
Blessing of getting a third qualifying lap. The absolute blessing of it. Let's run through the grid very quickly. But you can bring on your thought before we get there.
Well, no, I was just going to say, I see Aiden Kale's back. He had a bout of the food poisoning, I believe it was, last week and missed the race. But I see he's back and sitting on the pole, so he returns with a little bit of shine, pops right up to the front of the pack.
They've unfortunately traded place with JB who has the flu for the last few days. Oh, I don't like spreading the illness around the TCR SOF Plus. I'd love to have a nice finale in the last weeks, but it will be Aiden Kale on P1 with Mitchell Welker in P2, Dylan Winhu in 3 with Bryce Allen in 4, Nathan Lee in 5, and Tanner Gruber in 6 with Rick Shinzao just behind in P7. Drivers are just about getting ready to grid. Now, there are a couple more drivers that we haven't named yet. There's Bradley Binabos, I believe. That might be how you say it on the... who didn't set a qualifying time, alongside Ed Adams, who also didn't quite set a clean time, but we'll be seeing him here no matter what. And my software seems to think that I'm on the grid. It loves doing this for the hosted session. So if you see me in the race results, trust me, I'm not playing double duty. That's a promise.
Now, that would be an interesting take one day if you decide you'd like to try that, where you actually drive the race and commentate it also.
You only get the one angle, and I play in VR, so I can't like double window it. So
well, actually, you can. I don't know the details, but one of the guys in our league just posted today that he can put videos in his VR screen while he's driving.
I did watch all of Talladega during IMPC because I know that technologically you can do it. I just, don't trust myself to nail it on a league race. Maybe I can get 2 people to cover this race for me on a future week so that I can hit the grid in the grand finale. I'd love to think about it. We'll see. There's a few more weeks to go, including the player assigned circuits. We go to Circuit de Navarra as our season finale instead of Spa-Francorchamps. Well, driver's just about to grid now. Dylan Winhu still hasn't hit the grid. Neither either has Bradley Binabos or Binabo. I'm going to go with Binabos. I'm going to go with it. But it's nice to see some new names out in this hosted session. Remember, it's always open, always free to join. Please don't listen to when the in-game spotter announces green. There's always a slight delay, and I forgot to turn it off in time. We'll be fine. Drivers are on the grid now. Aiden in pole with Mitchell Welker behind. Those engines are roaring up to speed. That ain't green. We're green now. And I see a great launch down there from behind from Dylan Winhu, who has been able to get on the rear of Aiden Kale straight away. That whole right-hand lane has had a pretty poor start of it. As they pile out into turn 1, it's been relatively peaceful, but I see Mitchell Welker on the rear bumper here, waiting to maybe get an attack down here into turn 1. This is a horrifying sweeper in any car in the best of days, and these cars are going to be sliding their whole way through it. Aiden Kale leads the way, Dylan Winhu in P2, and that's Bryce Allen making a dive up the inside on Mitchell Welker. They're side by side. There is a little bit of contact, the sort of contact I love to see in these cars. It's going to be Bryce Allen out ahead first. Tanner Gruber on the rear bumper of Nathan Lee as well, hoping to try and take advantage of the situation in his own way. It's a super, super tight clash here in the middle, and it could evolve over the next few corners.
Man, I tell you what, every time I see Bryce Allen race, I love his style, man. He will get in there and put a fender on you or give you a little bump as he goes by. I just love his aggressive style. Yeah, we had a nice start there, at least from one lane. It looked like maybe Welker got a little slow start there or something, kind of held that lane up a little bit, but there they're doing all right here now. This is Dylan Wynn, who seems to be pretty quick, man. He showed up here and he's just jumped right on up front with them boys.
The reaction times on the start doesn't look like anyone really fell out of line, so it's interesting that we can even get that data. They don't get that in real life. But I see Aiden Kale 2 seconds down the road already. What a launch to start this race.
Yeah, well, he's fast when he gets out front. He put on a show a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember I was at.
Must have been Tsukuba. Must have been Tsukuba.
It was Tsukuba. Yes, that's correct. In the rain. Yeah, he dropped back to 4th or 5th and came blasting back up through there. So he's got plenty of speed.
This has been a fairly clean and measured start for these drivers. Now, on this track, I find the first half is your overtaking chance, and then the back half is sort of your try and get through it chance. And then you reset, re-rack, and you try again at the front. So, Aiden Kale, happy to get that gap and maintain it, but down further behind, I'm not going to see too many passes down here unless someone truly messes up the corner. It's that complex going into the S's that's really going to sort of trigger this all again, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's once you run through there and you got to carry a lot of speed through there, or you'll be behind the pace if you don't, because there are going to be drivers that carry a lot of speed through there, and then that almost it's practically like almost a 180 at the end of it, where you have to come back around. That's a tough turn coming out of there.
Here's Bryce Allen on the rear bumper of Dylan Winhue. I've not seen him in a race here before. We did join about halfway through the season, so he might have ran in previous weeks, but it is an open hosted session for anyone to join, so we do like to see some new faces around here on the road, and Bryce is going to try and get on the bumper of Dylan here to try and make a pass. This sweeper, it's all about how much exit speed you carry. It looks like Bryce is actually losing out a bit to Mitch Welker. He could be the next challenger.
Yeah, he got squirrely under braking right there. I think his brake bias might be a little far forward, and
he's going to go for it. Close the door.
I'm sorry, a little far back, and he might need to pull his brake bias back up a little bit there. He got real twitchy there.
Now he has a good entry. He makes the dive. He's going to overcook corner entry, though, and that's going to give Dylan Winhue the chance to strike back. Mitchell Welker looking in the distance, trying to make the best of the battle up ahead. This is going to
make it work.
It's very long start-finish straight. It's really going to find things. But yes, you're right. Bryce Allen looks like he has claimed the P2, and now it's Mitch Welker trying to send it around the outside. Going to be very hard here. Can't really put the power down, but Bryce Allen got the better of him there, and now Dylan Winhue's open to attack. Looks left, looks right. Mitch Welker going to get every little bit of draft he can to try and outbreak into this T1. If you overcook it too hard across this barrier, there is a slowdown, and we'll see where if Mitch loses a load of pace, whether he triggered that one. There's a chance he did.
Well, here comes Nathan Lee, and I was just reading in a YouTube chat that apparently he's got 2 belts on tonight to hold them pants up.
The Nathan Lee pants incident we don't talk about. We do talk about it. He once lost a vital position due to having his pants fall down halfway through the race and not being able to recover. So that was brilliant, but now it's become like a running joke. His team are in the chat in order to ambush him. It looks like Mitch could have taken the slow down there. I didn't see a black flag show up, so I'm just going to assume that was a pretty bad exit. And Dylan now wants to chase down Bryce Allen, who's going to pull out the gap in front. We want to talk about gaps, though. Aiden Kale now 5 seconds ahead. 6
Well, they've
seconds.
been battling back there. He's just been out there running in clean air, and these guys are back here fighting tooth and nail for these 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spots. And he's just opening up. Look, you could see him in the distance there. He was so far ahead. He was on the other part of the track.
Well, if you run away with the win, you also don't get seen on the screen as much. So who's the real winner there? Evan Adams, I've noticed, out of the race already. I don't know if anything happened, though. I can't find anything on the log that suggested it. Maybe there was a real-life problem because he pulled into the pit lane on lap 3 and we just haven't heard a thing since. I don't see any evidence of a crash, don't see any evidence of going slowly. Maybe real life call for that one. We'll find out more later, as Mitch Welker now trying to get the better of Dylan Winhu. There's going to be a lot of incidents here, and there is a point penalty, of course, for those incident counts. So, we want to be.
There may be some minor off tracks happening, but I can't lie to you. I'm shocked that we haven't seen more big off tracks. Because when I send it here, I don't play around. I get all four tires way off the track. But these guys are really doing a great job. Because, like I said, I feel like this track is tough to drive, and especially in a car like this. I promise you this: I'm going to go drive this combo later tonight, just to see how tough it is. It seems like a fun combo, though.
As Mitch Welker looks on the inside of Dylan Winhu. Now he takes no prisoners out here. Dylan runs all the way up to the white line. It's going to be a drag race, and typically the Elantra has a small advantage here, so it's not going to be big enough to clear. As Winhu still with the inside line, but then it opens up into this right-hander as you go down the hill, and that's when Mitch is going to take it, and Nathan Lee's not done either. He's going to stop the opportunity. Dylan really struggling in the middle of that corner. He's not going to get the pass done, but Dylan Winhu is dropping like a rock right now in the first 10 minutes.
Well, Bryce Allen got him earlier, and he was I think he got a little, look at this.
That's going wide. That will lose it for you, man.
Mitch. Mitch lost it there.
You lose points at 10x, Mitch. Like, you really need to tighten it up. Let's catch a little replay of Mitch if I can.
Yeah, he looked like he was talking about Tokyo drifting. He had the rear end on that car slung out right there.
Yeah, that's deja vu right there.
He's in full dirt car mode with those front tires right there. Look at that.
I mean, you better be thankful that Norway is on the colder side when it comes to your countries, that you're not about to have a homestead situation where you've just cooked them alive. But he's not out of this running at all, and he stayed within this top 3 chase. We're going to see plenty of trading places continue on forwards.
Yeah, I think the tire model on these TCRs is not quite the same as what you would see on those NASCAR. I don't think these tires get eat up quite like some of the like the NASCAR tires do.
Yeah, it's not even really a model thing. They're a very hard compound.
No, when you run the V's and the Formula Fords and stuff like that, you don't see that kind of tire wear. I mean, those cars are light, but that's what is so bad with the NASCAR type cars is the cars are heavy. So much heavier than these things.
Yeah, and obviously they run quite hard tyres for racing conditions. So, you don't even need to take them in the pit stops for 40 minutes, and you barely do it in the IMPC races, of which there is one more this season. I've had to miss a few, and I would have said, miss me with Rainy Red Bull Ring. Miss me with that. Nobody likes I chose not to race the Rainy Red Bull Ring IMPC because that sounded like torture. But there's only one more IMPC week on the schedule. It won't be this week. It will be at Circuit Zolder. Another track I don't like very much. So, although other people do. Other people love their Zolder. I'm not going to take Zolder away from them in any lifetime. And then we're next season, the big talk is about Daytona, as the Raw before the 24 sort of kicks off going into the beginning of the new year. And when that happens, you have the TCRs, LMP3s, and GT4s in that Daytona International Speedway multi-class. It's going to be crazy.
That's interesting.
And I'm going to win overall an LMP3, but then I'll come back and I'll do a TCR race. I will do it. I'll skip the GT4s because honestly, I sleep. There are better options out there, such as these beautiful things. Dylan Winhu still in P3 here.
I tell you what, these 3 guys are nose to tail. Obviously, Mitch is hanging on to the the train here, sliding it all over the place. He's had a couple of more a little close to off tracks, if not off. But these guys are running nose to tail here, but the rest of them are kind of checking out. Bryce Allen is now almost 9.5 seconds behind Aiden Kale, and then this group is separated by almost 5 seconds, 4 seconds, from Bryce Allen.
Let's take a look at the forward instead, as Mitchell Welker looks to try and mosey up on the inside of Nathan Lee. They might be drag racing it again down the start-finish straight. I mean, he certainly aren't drag race cars, but he's going to try and make the switch back and dive to the left-hand side. It will take a brave outbreak to win into that corner, and it isn't going to happen. Mitchell Welker now trying to sneak in. The gap has been left open, and I see an exit speed advantage here for Welker. I think he's going to have this going into the sweeper, although we hope one of the two doesn't drift horribly into the other.
Yeah, it did look like he got off that turn better, and there he goes. That was a nice run. But man, look how loose his car is.
You have to make them loose in order to even get anything done here, and that's the challenging dynamic of this track in these cars. You really the looseness down that corner is the scariest thing in the world. You're at the seat of your pants, you're looking at it and you're thinking, there's no way I make it here. But also, it's the only way you can make it around there, because otherwise it just doesn't steer. You put it down on the power, the front wheels just decide, no, you're not going anywhere. Where do you think you're going, mate? Off the road, indeed. That's why it's such a...
Well, I tell you what, that upper camera angle, that chopper shot, is fantastic for seeing those cars slide, especially with the way Mitch drives it, man. It looks like Mitch likes to sling that rear end out. Look at him right here coming inside. That's a nice move he just put on Dylan Wynn right there. Winhu.
And I don't think Dylan Winhu's done, but, Mitchell Welker's got places to go. They're almost bumping doors. Will Nathan Lee try and find a gap in the middle for it all? It's tied into that T1. Mitchell Welker's going to have the advantage for now. Nathan Lee on the rear bumper has to back out at the last minute for that one. Dylan staring down. Nice to see I love the Hyundais, but nice to see a non-Hyundai be incredibly competitive here too. Still chasing out there. I don't see Dylan Winhu making it happen this lap. This battle is going to go all the way to the pit cycle, I think.
Yeah, it would seem like it is. It's a shame this isn't our first and second place guys, because this is a heck of a battle. Probably I don't know, I guess I've covered 3 or 4 of these races with you now, and this is arguably the best little pack of racing that we've seen. We got 3 cars here swapping spots back and forth. What's funny is Nathan Lee's kind of just laying back there. I mean, he's sticking his nose in there, but he's usually really aggressive and getting towards the front, and he just seems to be taking a little easier tonight. Of course, this may not be his track either. It certainly wouldn't be mine. Well, there's a close-up shot of the back bumper of that Honda. That's a nice shot right there.
It's a nice-looking design as well.
Yes.
Good to see some variety out on the field.
Our buddy with the meme car didn't show up this week. I'm so bummed about that.
He got killed. You die in the sim, you die in real life there. I mean, we saw that car just get absolutely exploded at the Red Bull Ring of all places. Why would you join? I mean, the racing was great at the Red Bull Ring, but it's nice to be back at a real TCR track and not something that has been compromised into existence. I gotta say, though, I made it from last to second in my LMP3 multi-class split there. So that track annoys me, but it's got value out there too. Aiden Kale is now more than 11 seconds ahead of Bryce Allen. It could...
12.
Yeah, it's going to hit 12, I was about to say, and then it hit 12. Is anything going to stop this man? I'm going to give him his few seconds in the spotlight, and now we're done. Back to the real racing down here. Nathan Lee is trying to make up those places into the win here, and it looks like Mitchell Welker is getting away with it here. Over a second pulled away.
Yeah, he's pulled out a little distance there, surprisingly. Well, I think Dylan's struggling with Nathan Lee chewing on his back bumper there, and it's got him driving in his mirrors a little bit.
I mean, once you got someone chasing around you like that, you can't really just get them away from you. Nathan Lee gonna try and claim this inside line. Not making it happen.
Well, this is the kind of driving I'm used to out of Nathan, you know. It's good to, you know, see him. He's kind of nipping at his bumper. Like, that's what Nathan does, you know. So this is, unfortunately, like you said, until we get to pit stop cycle, you know, it's crazy how far these guys are out in front.
Why don't we play a game of who's going to black flag themselves and how? No black flag on the start this week, but I don't know if I've seen a race here go by about someone having a catastrophe and black flagging themselves on the pit. The car has a limiter, guys. That's all I'll say. Has a limiter. Looks like Mitchell Welker is well and truly gone. 2 seconds cleared now. It's really only a battle between these two.
Yeah, I think it's mainly because, you know, Nathan Lee decided to get up there and start challenging Dylan. And, I mean, you can clearly tell the way Dylan's driving that he's, you know, I don't want to say flustered. That may not be the right term, but he's clearly, you know, concentrating on Nathan now. And you can see it in his driving. His car's twitching around a little more. He's not as smooth through his lines.
It could be a challenging setup around here. I don't really know how you set up these cars appropriately, as it looks like Dylan's almost getting a push down the track from the rear of Nathan. He's waiting until the last possible second to make his move, and he won't do it.
Yeah, I thought he was too, but yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he did not do it. I was surprised by that.
See on the chopper, wait, how close and how that didn't really pan out.
I mean, he kind of stuck his nose out there and looked, but I guess he felt like he didn't have the run. You know, maybe these cars don't have quite the draft that, you know, that he needed to pull that off there.
True, and like you kind of have to back off by the braking zone, or until if you don't do that, you're basically sending both of you to an early retirement. I mean, a big punt, no one really wants to see it. But Nathan, very hungry to make this move. They've been trading places every time they do it. Shout out to the rest of the drivers on the field, of course. We have Tanner Gruber doing his best in the Hyundai this time. So we got the pink and the green. It really does come across as striking to me. And Rick Zhao has made it back out. And don't you worry, buddy. I would be there with you the whole way. I love these cars, but as I say every week, I'm particularly uniquely untalented at them. That's a shame.
Well, Rickson had a great attitude when we got to talk to him last week. You know, talking about just learning and, you know, coming out and enjoying himself, which is what league racing's all about. You know, these guys, they all practice together during the week and they help each other. And he said, you know, he's gotten a lot faster and he's seeing the improvement, which is, you know, exactly what these cars and league racing is all about.
Indeed, it's a bit of a long time to spend out there on the 40-minute session, but it does get you well prepped for the races around your SOF throughout the week. They often do this so early in the week that you sort of have the whole week ahead of you. TCR doesn't really have like a fixed slot. It doesn't really have a fixed time slot that goes SOF because it's popular enough. They've not like picked a time to stack. They like to sort of ping just before it happens. We'd love to bring the TCR series to Top Split weekly. I just need a time nominated for me. I'll do it. I'll get out there. That's a threat and a promise. It's everything. It's whatever you want it to be, really.
Yeah, in fact, I wanted to say that I love that Top Split weekly thing you're doing. I'm really excited to be doing that the IndyCar race coming up. I believe it's the 25th, if I'm not mistaken.
It's the next track rotation. So
yeah, it's next Monday. So next Monday night. But yeah, I'm excited to do that. That's going to be fun. And
the Indy 125.
Yes, that's right. The mini Indy. And then of course I heard tell of a mini stock series that has started.
Oh, well, Ain't that a classic? Yes. And you can still sign up, by the way. I'm going to push it right now while these two are having the battle of their lives. Or should I wait for the downhill here? As it looks like Nathan Lee might have the straight line advantage. He has been able to make the better exit. But
Dylan pushed him all the way out there, man. Oh, there he goes.
It's physical. It's what we love to see. Dylan gets the outbreak. He's way more confident on this downhill than Nathan Lee. Nathan Lee hasn't nailed confidence in this section yet. So we're really staring down these two, sort of waiting for the first one to bite and make a mistake. But Dylan's very good at blocking off these inside lines. But yes.
Yeah, he is. Tell me about that mini stock thing.
We're at Brands Hatch on the 22nd of November, and it's still not too late to sign up. It was a fantastic fun at Lime Rock, and you can check it out on the channel. It was a very unique experience, but let me just tell you right now. One Swedish team has stacked the league full of 6 cars. Do you want to be my hired gun? Well, that's the only thought I can bring to you. Come to my favourite track, Brands Hatch, at www.aeonesports.com for the sign-ups. And we'll be getting back to you on Discord about as soon as possible, as Nathan Lee isn't done here. What brilliant timing. He's not done. He wants to get this move done ahead right now, but next few corners, as ever, decisive. He's driving like someone with 2 belts. Let me put it like that. And that was an error into the corner. He's completely lost it.
Yep.
Have to see that one again.
I think he's getting, I don't want to say frustrated, but he's having a heck of a time getting by Dylan, man. Dylan, he's tried both sides of this. Oh, man.
That rear end
slung it out
snapped.
there. But he's tried the inside line there. He's tried the outside line there. He's struggling to get around him, and Dylan is doing a good job of holding him off. Unfortunately for those guys, everybody ahead of them is gone. They've lost contact with the rest of the pack. Aiden Kale's so far out there now,
Aiden Kale's literally playing his own game. In fact, I want to know if we're going to see lapping for the first time in a TCR SOF race. I'm checking his car number 15. He actually probably will meet Rick Zhao before the end of this race. At the current rate things are going. We'll keep an update on that.
I think we need to do some performance enhancing testing on his car for sure tonight. Of course, that's what we said about him in the rain 2 weeks ago.
Gonna fail tech inspection. The food poisoning only makes you stronger. A few updates for both this league and for this channel. We after the end of the iRacing season, we won't be doing quite the same tour around some top split series, but 1 or 2 of them might be coming back as a regular fixture. Can't say too much more right now, but we have some great plans coming up and some plans to cover a variety of iRacing leagues. And you can indeed, if you're interested in getting your league covered, email us at broadcasting@aeonesports.com, where I'll get back to you and talk to you all about. We'll cover absolutely anything you damn please. And as Nathan Lee yet again on the outside doesn't quite get it done, I think the pit stop cycles are going to be decisive here.
It's what you said right there. Nathan Lee is not comfortable in that downhill sweeper. And I can understand that because I'm never comfortable there either. But it's like he gets to the bottom of the hill there and he just doesn't, he's not in the right spot. On that one, he pushed out. But look at him coming here on the inside.
This might be the chance.
Oh, he rotated nicely there.
Nathan might finally have it. This battle has been vexing him for a while, but he still misses the braking marker.
Oh, man.
He's made the dive. What an exit.
He switched it back.
Slow in, fast out. I love to see action like this. And he set him up and did the switchback on him there. That was nice move, Nathan. We gotta catch that one more time, I think. That was absolutely brilliant. Gives up entry a little bit around here to make exit absolutely explosive.
Yeah, you could see, man. He was waiting for Dylan to make that move, and then he just turned it under him right there, man. That was so
And
nice.
I mean, they are still absolutely trading positions right now. They've even swapped a few times during the replay. The fuel tanks are set, so we should have a pit stop coming soon for these drivers, although I've not seen anyone make their move yet. Dylan Winhew gets him back. He's been really having problems on that downhill, and Dylan Winhew has been significantly stronger in it, and he has been able to get that place back there on the inside.
Yeah, you called that a few laps ago when you said that he was not as comfortable there as Dylan was, and you're right, 100%. Every lap that he's come through there since then, you can just see it. He's just not. He does not have the confidence in putting his car in the right spot there.
This was that might not have been the pass. I'm trying to catch when the pass was. It was at the bottom of the hill. It was at the bottom of the hill. Oh man, it's really going to send me this far back? Well, give me something. Actually, let's just press the buttons. Let's just press the buttons. Let's break the rules of space and time. Yep, he does it around the outside, but the braking is simply more confident. And
yeah, I mean, Nathan was down on that inside there, and he did not have the confidence. He slowed the car down too much,
And the pit stops are indeed beginning. It's Nathan Lee and Dylan Winhew taking the pit lane at the same time. Uh-oh, they're going to come out in each other's air.
Of course they are. Oh, he's taking tires.
Oh, Dylan Winhew's taking tires. I can't believe it. It's tragic. But that might just be the ball game for this battle, in fact. The car going up on those jacks. If he takes all four, you really don't need those. And this pit crew does it one by one. I hate to see it. If you don't know the strat, you don't know the strat. You could see him turning the wheel. He's wondered what's happened. As just behind him, Tanner Gruber's going to make it into the pit lane. Uh-oh. How do we tell him? How do we tell him that you don't take the tires? He's still stuck there. The tires aren't back on the car. It's back out.
Wow. I wonder if he intended to take tires or if he forgot to unclick, the famous move. You forget to unclick the replace tire check.
I'm just checking whether this flag that Nathan Lee may have crashed is actually a thing, or whether he's just using the pit lane speed limiter for too long. He's just using the limiter for too long, and it seems to think he's running outrageously slow for it. Nathan, you can turn.
It's almost like he's waiting on him. It's almost like he's waiting.
You can turn the Nathan. Do you want to move the car? All right.
That's
Old Navy 180. I need an explanation for this. That is not how this car drives. There we go. He's back.
All right. Yeah. Wow.
That ain't it, buddy. Which piece of clothing was it this time? You can be honest with us. Well, Dylan Winhew's got a fun game to play now because Tanner Gruber is up ahead, I believe. Actually, what has happened here? It seems to think that Tanner Gruber is the next car and that... Oh, Bryce Allen. It's the pit stop cycles because Bryce Allen hasn't stopped yet and they're a lap down. Aidan Kale and Bryce Allen will be stopping now. But it means now that he might have to fight his way through Rick Shinzhao and Tanner Gruber, two of the slower cars on the field throughout this event. So we might still get to see some good passing from him as he tries to make up those places. I think he knows exactly what he's done at this point. We won't belabor it, but... Now he's got some time to make up, and it's going to be fun seeing those battles play out. Here's Nathan Lee behind Tanner Gruber, who has actually come out beating him in pit lane.
Which is crazy because he came in, significantly later, in that stop. They had already been stopped, but I think whatever that was with his pit limiter, Nathan's pit limiter or whatever, has allowed Tanner to get in front of him.
Yeah, I think running very outrageously slow for half a lap is how you're gonna struggle. I only make fun because I've gotten to know these people very well at this point. Please do so responsibly in your own broadcasts and make sure you have your parents' permission before going online. But yeah, he's going to have to make this pass now. It's on the track, it's on the road, and he's going to have to earn it. We've seen over from Nathan Lee have trouble overtaking here, and I actually do see Dylan Winhue on the rear of Nathan Lee. Nathan Lee gave up so much time on pit exit that Dylan Winhue, having taken tyres, which are going to be faster, is on the rear bumper.
I wonder how much faster. That's, because this isn't typically a car you take tires in. So I wonder, are they going to be worth a half a second? Are they going to be worth a second? Who knows?
I'm going to have to ask these drivers some questions as we approach the final 10 minutes of the race. We expect about 7 more laps from our leader, Aiden Cale, who, trust me, he remains in his own special planet. If you put bets for Aiden Cale before the race, congratulations, you will claim a grand total of nothing. Email Howie at aeonesports.com and we'll make sure to get you your nothing very, very soon. Nathan behind Tanner, trying to make the moves, and all this time being held up is going to put Dylan Winhue back in the picture to revive the battle.
Yeah, and Tanner's doing a nice job up there. He got, he picked up a little track position there in the pit stop cycle, and he's holding his own right now. I mean, he was a little off the pace earlier, so it's good to see that neon pink and green car up there.
A weird purple vibe to me instead. It confuses me. Another iRacing event going on this week, we're not covering it, but it's another iRacing event for the fun of it all, is the SCCA runoffs. Do you have any interest in this crazy event this week? I'm really looking forward to it. They're doing qualification this week, and then the weekend is the super split, where you are split based upon your championship points, as Nathan Lee backs out of another overtake attempt. It's like Groundhog Day. Both drivers did their absolute best to make sure this battle wouldn't return, and it has returned! And I love to see it. I really want them to fight it out until the end of the race.
Yeah, it's been exciting all race, and here we go again. Look at it. He is right on his bumper. Tanner swung wide there.
And I wonder if Dylan Winhue is going to be able to get past Tanner easier than Nathan Lee could. He has the assured inside line. There might be contact between the two. There's a door ban. Two people taking different lines. Good on them to keep it together. Tanner Gruber gets away with it, but going wide might just open the door for Nathan Lee as well to sneak in. Not quite. You see how Dylan Winhue makes it happen, and Nathan Lee takes a while to work it out. Overtaking has been very hard here today.
It's that turn, man. That turn is just not Dylan. Nathan is just not comfortable in that downhill sweeper there, the 3 and 4 there. But I have to say, man, Dylan, he sent it down there, and he used up some of Tanner's 4 tires to hold him up there. He kind of body slammed him there a little bit to get through that. That was a nice pass. I mean, it wasn't hard enough contact that it wasn't clean, but that was nice.
Oh, you do somewhat have to move people a little bit in these cars, and that's a big part of why we love them, really.
You know me. I mean, I love that style of racing. I wish we could get these guys to get closer together. We could see a little more of that with like Bryce Allen and Aiden, because both of those guys kind of drive like that too. So
Nathan Lee now looking to get it done again on Tanner Gruber, consistently the faster driver. Hopefully he can make this corner work out for him. Looks like he has. Exit could be tricky though. I think he's kept it together pretty reasonably. Finally made the move, and now he's got to get down Dylan Winhue with only a few laps to go. I'm not sure which driver has actually been the faster. If we look at the fastest laps, it has been Dylan. In clean air, Dylan Winhue has been running almost like competitively with some of the leaders up ahead. That battle's just been sort of vexing him and making it more challenging. So,
well, let's be fair. Aiden Cale is a lap faster than anybody else in this field.
Aiden Cale's playing a different game, Aiden Cale has just decided to wake up and choose violence. Make sure he ate his breakfast well. It's paid off.
Yeah, well, it definitely his breakfast definitely set well with him today. He is literally a second faster than the
Do you
next
want to know
guy.
where Aiden Kale is? You can see him in the rear of your picture right
Oh
now.
goodness.
He has 4 laps estimated to try 3 laps estimated. It's an estimation. Really, let's say it's 4 minutes. It's probably going to be more like 2 laps, and it didn't account for the pit stops. Actually, he has a few laps to see if he can gap these 2 battlers for the whole race. This is almost a fun game in itself. Come on, Aiden, show us something spectacular.
Wow, man, he really is. That is crazy. And look how far Mitch Welker is now ahead of the group that earlier in the race they were all running together, and after the pit stop cycle, he's at over a half a lap ahead now.
I mean, yeah, we can look at that time and we can
He's 50 seconds ahead.
51 seconds ahead of Dylan Wynn here. That's scary,
Man.
I mean, like, Dylan seems to also be running the faster laps. These are predicted lap times for the 2 drivers, and I mean, Dylan would be on mark for a really, really good lap here, but I mean, it doesn't matter if you can do 1 good lap if you can't repeatedly make it.
Well, the way they were fighting with each other, that's they've been doing that all race. That slows them down, and then clearly his tire mistake added. I guess I won't call it a mistake. That's not really fair because
Dylan's
he's
running
back.
faster laps now. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean he's back to where he was, and he's got fresher tires. So I won't call it a mistake, but that certainly cost him some distance to third place. Because that was an extra 20 seconds or whatever he spent in there.
I'll be honest for honesty's sake. It was a mistake compensated by another mistake, or I'll ask. Here we're going to imagine the good timeline. Was it good sportsmanship? Or was it another pantsgate? We'll have to find out, and he can give us whichever answer he politically decides is more active, to be honest. He'll let him think about that one for a minute. Only a couple laps to go. It looks like the estimation is that next one will be the white flag for Aiden Kale, as his pace has cut down the estimation by 1.
I don't know if Nathan did wait on him, because I said that jokingly when he had what we thought his pit limiter was on when they were coming out of the pits, and I said I wonder if he's waiting on him, jokingly. But I mean, if you're that far behind third place and you've had this kind of fun battle all race, maybe he did. Maybe he did.
And who is on the rear bumper of them both? It's not even for position, but this would be the battle to end all battles. It's Aiden Kale, P1, out to take the white flag, I believe. They has to have taken the white flag. This overlay is particularly slow at giving me the white flag nowadays, but with 40 seconds to go, there's no way he gets around this track in less time than that. Trying to muscle his way past the 2 drivers that have been fighting this whole race.
He's running almost 1.5 to 2 seconds a lap right now, currently, faster than those guys. He's got one of them right there. Just crushed that turn. Holy cow, was he fast through there?
And he's going to go for another. He's just. What just happened?
Alive.
What just happened?
That car's got a Formula One motor in it. He is motoring.
Aiden Kale is going to fail tech inspection. That's what I think. We're going to call Mitch. We're going to call Mitch out. And, but
look how much faster he was, man.
Yeah, he is. And he is going to claim an absolutely glorious win.
That angle, that first angle that you had, when it showed him ripping through there, showed the dramatic difference. Look how far ahead of me he is already. This is in 1 lap.
Aiden Kale is going to claim the checkered flag at Rudskogen. You know, a week out was only to give the others a reprieve. That's one of the most dominant performances I have ever seen here. Just behind him, Dylan Winhue and Nathan Lee are going to lock in their checkered flag for 4th and 5th because they were just finished behind. Bryce Allen will be soon to take P2, with Mitchell Welker be soon to take P3. Unbelievable scenes today. I love Rudskogen.
Before this thing resets, can you go all the way back to right before he passed them coming down the hill there on you turn 3 and 4 before he got around Nathan?
I can.
Can we look?
Right.
Can we
Do we remember what lap it was?
It was this one right here, the last lap.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna try because what I should have done is hit bookmark, but instead
if you go back to his pass of Nathan Lee, which should be there, and then back it up from there a little bit.
Was he ahead at this point? This is when he took the white flag.
Yeah, he's ahead, right?
Back.
Yep,
back.
keep going.
Let's
keep
go.
Going.
Do we need another one, or is this it? Do we need to go even further?
Go back a little bit more. Do the down angle. That's good. No, that's good. Wherever you were at, that was fine.
Okay. I mean, we're breaking the laws of physics and we're breaking the laws of time in order to bring this together. But I just want to see these again one more time. Apparently, by the way, I'm just saying that my software has just told me that Bradley Binnabos passed Howie Burroughs for P9. He never got to hit the grid, but a congratulations to your sterling effort. As we check out this angle for the overtakes.
I mean, okay, so he closes up. He's 6 or 7 car lengths right there, crossing the start-finish line. And before they get to the bottom of the hill, his car looks like it's going 10 miles an hour faster than theirs.
He's failed tech inspection. I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask Mitch first. First thing. So we're going to be getting some interviews very, very soon. I'm just going to jump in. I'm just going to go like, hey, can you check out what happened here? Because this ain't right, man.
Look,
he bought a GT4 into the race.
That.
This isn't IMPC. You can't just do that. It's this gap.
Look at this move right here.
Away. Can't believe it.
He was so fast right there.
They're all hearing you right now. By the way, they're all there for you. I mean, we can take the compliments. We got some other drivers here in the interview pad, and we'll be able to talk to plenty of them about that race as it went down. As I bring down the race audio just a little bit in order to make this more digestible. Come on, OBS, I know you love me. First of all, though, let's actually talk to our winner before we get the dangerous news that I think might so be true. Is Aiden Kale? Is that? I think this is Aiden Kale. If he can jump in, maybe I'm stupid and I'm wrong. Is this Aiden?
Yes, it is.
So I feel like you're going to fail. My bad news is I feel like you might be failing tech inspection. We'll get the official news on that one soon. Because what on earth was that?
Well, I don't know what. Why would I be failing tech inspections? My question.
I mean, some of the pace on the show, we barely saw you throughout most of this race because you disappeared, and then you just started gapping at the end. It was spectacular. Bit of a lonely
You've got a GT4 engine in that car, don't you?
No, I think it's just practice and preparation, really. I mean, I didn't really come in with too much prep for this round, maybe about 15 laps or so before I joined the server. But no, it's all about just, preparation, time in the car. I swap between this and the supercar quite a bit, so I feel like I get quite a bit of skill from the supercar as well that translates into the TCR. But no, it's just a matter of mid-race adjustments, just really kind of optimizing your line and your setup, really.
There were some pretty spectacular passes at the very end. I got to say that was a lot of fun to watch. I wish we could have caught more of you, but obviously you decided to make this your own game.
Man, you come down the big hill there and into the sweeper there, 3 and 4. You pass those guys, it looked like you were going 20 miles an hour faster than they were.
Yeah, that corner down there is very, very tricky, actually. Like, it's the hardest corner on the track, and
I hate it.
I would actually go and say it's one of the hardest on iRacing just in general, especially in a front wheel drive car. It's so hard to. You really have to get your throttle and brake modulation almost, impeccable there every single time, or you're going to run wide, which I did do, I think, once or twice and got a little bit of a slowdown. But it's really tricky, and I feel like that's where not everyone did an incredible job today. I don't think there were any incidents, were there?
No big flashpoints at all. I mean, that was a very clean race, but full of some great action. Any shout-outs before we move on?
Just the usual, the VM boys, Vermilion Esports /Motorsports. Go check them out on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. They're all the guys that make this possible and have supported me throughout my iRacing journey. And yeah, all our sponsors, Hymo Setups, and all of those good fellas. And shout out to all the boys coming out and coming out to race today. I really enjoyed it.
It was officially announced. Thank you for dropping in, by the way. It was officially announced that the TCR SOF series will be taking a break after this season for a season. That's not just our broadcast, that's the whole series, by the way. But maybe when they come back, we do need a team championship. Let's talk to Mitch Welker, who can give us the important news on the state of Aiden's car. Do you think that's acceptable? Do you think we're good?
What was the issue with it?
It just seems like it's running a bit too fast,
Yeah, maybe Success Ballast could be part of the next iteration of SOF Plus.
No, that was spectacular. We were just wondering if he was running a different thing entirely. You had a fun battle near the start of the race and were eventually able to clear the rest. You say you don't like the track, but I think you took to it quite well.
I mean, yeah, you can definitely still take to a track without being particularly fond of it. You can have that difference. Yeah, it took me about half the race before I finally was able to at least almost match Bryce, but still not crazy happy with how the car felt. And generally, this track just kind of irks me in a few ways, especially the slowdowns.
You got hit by a few?
Yeah, they just feel arbitrary and kind of aggressively placed at points. But
I agree. In a lot of ways, Mitch, this is like the Red Bull. The Red Bull ring, they're so tight, right on the edge of the track in some spots, that there's just no room for error there at all. And there's certainly a few spots like that on this track.
Yeah, I mean, at the Red Bull ring, at least if you keep 2 tires on the curb, you're going to be fine for the most part. Here, I can, go into a corner, have my 2 tires on the, cutting the corner a little bit, but I have 2 on the curb and still get a slowdown.
Yeah, especially that chicane at the bottom of the start-finish line straight, that little chicane there, 1 and 2, yeah. I guess it is. Yeah. You can just touch the curb there and practically get one.
Right, exactly.
So you had a good run, though. You were early on. You were hanging the rear end out there pretty good. We saw you doing a few power drifts, and then it seemed like you got a little better handle on it. It hooked up for you, and you passed those guys, and then kind of left them battling in behind you.
Yeah, ideally I would have put in a little more work on the set to make it a little more stable down there. Just had to modulate the pedals a little bit just to get it set, safe enough. It wasn't fast, but I got it figured out to where it was safe enough, and was able to, clear Nathan. Had a great race with him and Dylan. That was sick. Highlight of the night for sure.
Their battle was the first half of this race. Their battle was crazy. Even after you left them, man, they were swapping spots back and forth. It was fantastic.
Good to hear.
Any extra shout outs before we send off here? Only a couple of weeks to go.
Yeah, shout out to everybody that's come out for this season. Even once or twice. It just kind of take this thing off a little bit. Going to go back to the drawing board a little bit, probably for the following season. But thanks for everybody that's been along, and especially you for coming along to broadcast this. And glad you're improving your craft, having a good time at the same time. It's good to have us on your broadcast as well. So
go back and watch week 1 and go back and watch now. It's been a fantastic experience for me as well. But I'll leave the big thank yous for a future week, I think. And I might even try and pack a surprise into a future one. Well, good to catch up with you, and we'll see you again next week.
Thanks. Yeah, see ya.
Let's just run through these in the order that I think they are. Let's talk to Dylan. Actually, I've not seen him around here before, and I don't know whether this is your first week.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is your first week or whether you've just been off for a few. Hello, Dylan. When here, it was a lot of fun. I think I've gotten that right. I think there was a lot of fun watching you do a load of battles around there.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with Nathan there. After a certain point, you stop caring about the position so much, and we're just having fun on the track. Yeah, but this is my first week out here. First real race in the car, really, too.
First real race in the car. It did feel quite natural out there. You definitely were putting up a good fight. Unfortunately, you might have made the mistake a lot of people make by taking the tires, but it's somehow transpired. You got to have the battle back.
Yeah, the tires was a funny mistake.
Oh, go ahead.
My friends told me about that right before we started, and I still missed it somehow.
Well, you know what? The events that transpired from there were brilliant, because then we got to see you do the battle again. It was just brilliant seeing you go back and forth with Nathan. It seemed like you had more confidence, especially in the first half of the track, that really matters. You saying you don't drive these cars very often at all?
Yeah, no, this is my first front-wheel drive on iRacing. It was a real shock for me last night. Last night was when I started practicing, and I was about like a whole 2 seconds slower than I am now. But got to acceptable pace somehow.
Well, I would tell you, definitely hop into some of the fixed open races and pilot challenge, because they're a great community, and I feel like you fit in so well already. That was a lot of fun. Any shout outs before we move on?
Yeah, just shout out to my friends. Nathan, Bryce gave me a lot of tips during practice, and I think that's how I was able to make it today. And that's all.
Very, very nice indeed. Good to see you, and hope to see you in the last couple weeks of this league, and maybe more of you in the future.
Yep, I'll be trying to make it for sure. That was a lot of fun.
Hey, let's talk to Bryce, which is unfortunately someone we barely really got to see much of. But you know, when you had some very good battles at the start, you seem to like getting physical with people. You really like it, but it's
yeah. Those were more aggressive passes than I intended, for sure.
Man, I told you a couple of weeks ago that I love that style of yours, man, and you didn't disappoint. You plowed it up in there and give him a little door slam and went on by.
Yeah, sorry.
But I mean,
that.
clearly you had pace though, because I mean, Aiden was in a different league tonight. I still think he had a GT4 motor in that car or something. But I mean, once you got ahead of those guys, you put your gap on them too. Now they were continuing to battle, which made it easy on you. I'm sure you were happy to see that in your mirror.
I was kind of jealous. I was wanting to be a part of the battle too, to be honest.
Well, they had a good one. I'm sure they wouldn't have minded if you just slowed up and gave them a chance. But
yeah, maybe I should have done that.
Yeah, they had a heck of a battle back there for sure.
All right. Any shout outs again before the end? Before we move on, there's quite a lot of people to get through today, and we're going to try and get to all of them. And I won't leave out Rickson again.
Shout out to everyone who showed up. This was one of our more populated races, so that was really cool to see. Still hoping we can get to double digits sometime in these next few races. And shout out to Aiden too. He's just crazy fast. Good on him.
Hey, Bryce, you need to congratulate your 10th place finisher tonight too. Apparently, Howie Burroughs, our lead commentator here, apparently he finished 10th in the race.
Oh yeah,
it's a bug with the hosted sessions. But the overlay shows me, and it'll probably show me in the finishing results as well.
Congrats on your first race, Howie.
Yeah, he didn't turn it. That's right. He didn't turn a lap, but he finished 10th.
Well, that was a lot of fun, and I want to see you battle out to the end. I've been told that you have taken the points lead by 6 points going into the last couple of rounds.
Oh man!
Oh my goodness!
All we need is JB to get over his sickness, and he'll be right back up there.
Going to be a battle for the ages. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, that's gonna be good stuff.
Calling on Nathan Lee, and first, well, I'll talk about your fantastic battle in a bit. But first of all, there are multiple ways for you to like spin the story of your pit exit. How are you going to spin this one?
So this one, I was actually in a call with Dylan, and I realized he took the tires, and I was like, man, I could run off now and like put a 20-second gap on him, or I could hang on to the pit limiter a little bit and see if he can catch up, and he sure did. I got some. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
That's fantastic. We thought there was a possibility. Basically, we really thought there was a possibility that it had been opened up on purpose, because that was spectacular to watch. It was so much fun.
Thank you. Do it for you, Howie.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was some good fun. You guys that was entertaining.
Yeah, I've driven a lot with Bryce and Dylan on like Assetto Corsa. Like we've been on like all sorts of like Toge servers in the past, so I can like really trust them, and we kind of know how we race together. So I think it was some really good, clean fun, and yeah, I was super happy to have him show up.
Well, I noticed you had a little bit of less confidence on the downhill, probably one of the scariest corners in the world. That seems to be whenever he got the better of you. But you were able to pass him back on other places, so it was a very interesting to and fro.
Yeah, in that section, I feel like the only thing going through my mind at that point is just survive. Like make it through the corner, live another turn. Like you could probably like sit on the bumper and like try for another move later, but if you spin now, it's over. So, yeah, I was not trying to commit too hard through that corner, but it is, like Aiden said, that's probably one of the hardest corners on iRacing that I've driven. So, yeah, well done. I think at one point we were like 3 wide through there with some people, so it was a riot.
That did indeed happen. There were some great 3 wide antics there. It's such a classic TCR track. Any extra shout outs?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to shout out Tanner too for the racing after pit exit. I know he got ahead, and we had some great battling too. And then just everybody else for showing up. Yourself, Howie, for hosting, and yeah, Mitch for putting on the league as well. Yeah, so many great people here, and it's been so much fun coming here week after week. Of course, I of course got to shout out my family and my wife for watching too. So yeah, I appreciate all the support from everyone and all the fun that we're having here.
Some great stuff. Only a few weeks to go. Looking forward to seeing this play out. Tanner on the way, digging out the Hyundai as opposed to the Honda. You can very much tell from the livery from a mile away. It was good to see you get back into the game and get back into the competition near the end, Tanner, because there was some fun battling with that Q.
Yeah, it was fun. I was shocked that I could keep up with Nathan for at least part of it, but eventually he pulled away. But yeah, it was a fun little battle we had after the pit stops.
It's a hard track indeed in these cars. Which bit scares you the most?
Oh gosh, there's some scary bits. Honestly, right at the end, I ended up getting a lot of slowdowns, so that was always a bit hairy, and then. Yeah, there's all sorts of. The scariest part is the slowdowns for me. Is always that risk? It seems like
they do indeed say you cut the course. Who knows who they are? I wouldn't really trust them. But
it's always they. It's always this elusive they.
Big iRacing are trying to get us down around here. I'd
like to give they a piece of my mind.
Well. We always appreciate you showing up and learning the best you can around here. Any extra shout outs before we move on?
Oh no, just shout out to my fans watching, Ben, Emily, Ty. Thanks for my friends tuning in. Appreciate everybody else that I got to race with.
Everybody's got a lot of friends, but we love to see it.
Right, and tell all your friends to make sure that they like and subscribe to the channel as well. So that they can, that's all, they'll be notified when all these races and other good stuff come out. So make sure you remind them to do that. And
like, comment, subscribe.
All of
you, all that stuff.
All of you and all of your friends. Just one more to call on as we call on Rikshin Zal to end this. If you drop in, let's get the replay set up just in time. Oh, that's not how you do it. Hold up. I'm working on it. No, sorry. You did your bit right. I didn't do my bit right. That's more like it. who knows what the overlay is doing. At this point, I won't even ask questions. You did make it out there. It is a very, very hard track. I wouldn't fault anyone for having a slow run of it. But how did you end up taking to it over the course of the race?
Oh, I felt the first 3 laps, I don't know, the car feels really off, and the pacing of the corners feels really, really off. But I feel I have pace to catch up to Evans, and he'd end up, I don't know, maybe damage to his car.
We didn't see an incident. We think he might have just had something come up that means he had to park it. We didn't see something happen.
Yeah, after a few laps, I think like after lap 4, and I starting to get into pace and keep it around 132, which is pretty good rhythm for me, I guess. And I kept it doing that for 10-15 laps until I was in the pit. Then the tires become cold and doesn't have any grip anymore, and I'm starting making mistakes afterward. And I was busy looking at the leaders coming up behind me and not trying to ensure for the battles. So
it's a hard combo. It's full of some very, very, very scary corners indeed. And it's good to see you drop in and do your best to learn it. I know that we'd all love to see some super, super tight racing across the whole field. But you know what? I have been in that position of being the one that it doesn't quite fit in. And everyone still appreciates it all the same. Any shout-outs before we close off this show?
Oh, yeah. For everyone joining and for pointers from Bryce and Nathan. And I generally have fun with this one, even though I'm like really off the pace, running the group and watching everyone fight each other from a distance. I'm going to join one day. Hopefully not far.
Well, it's a skill, and it takes a lot of track time, and you sure are getting a lot of track time, and it is always a joy to see and speak to you, nonetheless. Let me just hit the right buttons. I know for sure I've gotten everyone this time. I know for sure I haven't made a horrific mistake. So with that, we're just about ready to call the end of this show. Still lots to happen on the channel, the next round of the mini stock series. And let me tell you, I'd love to see some names from this server drop into that league. No favoritism.
Wouldn't that be fun to have some of these guys running in that, come over and run those mini stocks, man?
But,
there's some fast, fun guys in this league. That would be a blast if you could get, Nathan and Aiden and Bryce to come over.
That was some very sloppy self-promotion, though. This is still a fantastic league, and I have a lot of fun coming to it every week. Almost near the end of the iRacing season now, a 13-week season, so we only have 2 more weeks. We go to Circuit Zolder, and then we go to Circuit de Navarra, filling in for Spa-Francorchamps. I feel like whoever decided to substitute that one was like very obviously just like, oh, no more Spa. I don't need it in my life. Or put anything in its place. I like Spa, but some people have their favoritism, have their picks. So until next week, or until the next time you see us, in fact, because there's more to come. I've been Howie Burroughs, and this has been Jim Cunningham, and we'd like to wish you a very good night and a good week of racing.